Back on MornignLine, thanks for joining us. Our guest is Allison Fields, veterinarian. He waves and says hi.
Yep.
We're going to take phone calls if you'd like, 737-7587. We're getting to ticks and fleas and all that kind of stuff. And if you have a question about your pet or some issue you're dealing with, give us a call. Line's open, free veterinary advice. Let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning.
Morning, Joe.
Hey, Nick,
Hi, Joe.
question about pills for fleas and heartworm. Do they make a pill that covers fleas, ticks, and heartworms?
That's a great question, Joe. They don't.
Everything.
So we can get everything but the ticks. We can do heartworms, intestinal parasites, and fleas in one pill, but we can't get ticks. Or we can get fleas and ticks in one pill with no heartworm. So that's a great question, and I ask my clients a lot, where do you live? Do you hike? Do you go on walks in the park? Do you have acreage, or do you, live in town in a small yard? And so we kind of have to figure out which they're most concerned about. Is it fleas? Is it ticks? Is it both? And if it's just fleas, then there is one pill. It's called Trifexis, and it does fleas, heartworms, and intestinal parasites. It kills fleas. There's another product called Sentinel that does the same stuff, but it doesn't kill fleas. It renders them sterile, which is an option, but it's not going to give you the kill. So if you have a flea outbreak, you might want to add something else into it. So there's also Advantage Multi, which is a topical that does fleas, intestinal parasites, and heartworms. So there's several, if not quite a few, options for heartworms, parasites, and fleas, but nothing with the tick in it too.
Joe, what do you guys use?
Well, we've been in the past using the topical, but my dog is a Shih Tzu, and he's got a lot of hair, and it's messy, and it smells real bad for several days. And we were trying to go to. Not going to the pill.
Yeah.
He's in a controlled environment, which he's in the house about 90% of the time. What little time he's outside, he's in a fenced-in yard, not close to trees, or probably not. Ticks really hadn't been a problem with him, but.
Well, if ticks haven't been a problem, and you want to try Trifexis, that might be something you could try. If you are concerned about ticks, you could always do just a heartworm prevention, such as HeartGuard or Interceptor or Iverheart. There's a lot of them. There are two pills out that do fleas and ticks. One is a monthly pill, and one is one that lasts for 3 months. So there's a lot of different options. It is a little overwhelming, I'm sure. But, the best person to talk to is your veterinarian and see what they recommend and, what your environment calls for.
Joe, thank you.
Thank you.
It's good hearing from you. What do you think, Allison? There are some people out there that, for whatever reason, don't want to go with pharmaceuticals or pills or spray. And there's several items on the market that are like natural or holistic, like sprays that, I don't know if it's like some kind of vinegar water or other things, or, again, you hear about, cedar shaving, stuff like that. That's all just very superficial, isn't it?
It is. And I actually just read a study in humans for ticks and I think mosquitoes, and they did this huge comparison of citronella and this and that and cedar oil and I mean a lot of things, and every single person came back and said that DEET was the best product. Now we can't put DEET on our pets, but that's what's in your Deep Woods Off.
Oh, I have some. Now, just curiosity, is because it's made for humans. What would DEET do if you sprayed off on your dog?
It could cause a big problem.
Is it that they would have like different than it would in a human? I mean, a human could have an allergic reaction, but that stuff is too harsh a chemical for a dog.
Think about their size of body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very small, and you're putting this chemical on them, and they absorb things differently. It's just like we can take ibuprofen, they can't. I mean, our bodies are just different in the way we can eat chocolate, and dogs can't. Because they don't have the enzymes to break it up. So, there's a lot of differences there.
Just remember, stuff like that is not meant for a dog.
No.
And now the cedar shavings, things like that, it smells good, maybe it's comfortable, but that's not going to get rid of fleas, right?
I don't think so.
But what does that make for a good bed for dogs sometimes?
I think because it stays dry, it smells good, and I think that there's some discussion that it does prevent, it may prevent ticks For some reason, I think that sounds more likely than the fleas. But yeah, there's really not a lot of natural things that prevent them.
Yeah, because in nature, they hop on, and there's nothing there to keep them off.
Right.
And you do think it's going to be a busy year for it, right?
I do.
I mean,
I'm already seeing ticks. I've already found one on myself.
Oh, me too. I was out in the garden, and you can feel it, and there it is on my leg. Boom.
Yeah.
So it's because it's more mild this winter, I suppose, and all
Well,
that.
I mean, we had a good, nice big snow. I mean but I don't know why. I can't. We'll have to make Leland look into that.
Leland will check it out. Let's go to Bob. Bob, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Bob.
She was talking earlier. Had they done studies on when the floods were and how the animals were affected like that? And the other thing, they're catching these dog fighters. They're using shots. What is that?
Oh, okay. Twofold questions. First of all, by the way, we're just what is this? What anniversary is this, Leland? This is 6 years since the flood.
Yep.
Boy, that was brutal.
It means Gammy turned 6 this year.
6. That's right. Oh, you got all right. There were a lot of flood rescue dogs.
Yep. Gammy was a flood rescue cat. So I didn't really understand the question.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what that was for, but animals that in any disaster sometimes end up being orphaned, and a lot of them get rescued, and then people like you adopt them, which is great. The other part of it, and we've talked about this in terms of some of these dog fighting rings that have been busted. One of the ones most recently, they went in there and they found a bunch of syringes which appeared to be steroids, where they were injecting the dogs with these steroids and getting them on the treadmills to make them steroid. I mean, I know it's just absolutely horrendous, but that's what they found. I remember talking to the detective on this, and among other things, someone wanted these, and then they looked and they found these chemicals, and clearly these were being used to inject the dogs. I mean, have you heard of that? Steroids?
No, I don't watch the news.
Yeah. Okay.
Serious.
For that very reason.
For that very reason.
It's pretty depressing.
I know you do a lot of good work, and I appreciate it, but I do not watch your animal stories.
My wife won't either on animal stories.
I don't do it. I see enough in my world that I don't need more.
Yeah, the cruelty of that. I mean, and there's some other cases coming up on some of these. There was we adopted Mashed Potato.
Right.
Okay, our dog from an animal rescue in Manchester last April, about a year ago now. And actually, the criminal case for the individual in that is coming up. Now, she's charged with several counts. The big question now is whether or not, I think she's already agreed to sign off on probation and never owning an animal again. But there are some, considering it was the largest cruelty case in that region that they've ever seen, that she should serve some type of time. And they're suggesting, maybe a month, 30 days, which I think she's balking at. What do you think about, toughening the laws to serve time if you're caught in animal cruelty?
I feel like Tennessee, why do I feel like Tennessee just became one of the first states to have much harsher.
We have the registry now.
Right, that's what it was. We're one of the first states to have the registry. But until the crime of mistreating animals becomes more than a misdemeanor or a lower value crime, I don't know that the judges, because there's rules. If it's a misdemeanor, and if it's a felony, then this is time served. And so, I think until animal abuse gets a higher rating, for lack of a better word, I don't know that legally you can assign jail time.
Yeah. On some of these now, you actually can, but in a lot of cases too, though, you look at whether or not the people that do this are not always just these evil people. A lot of them have a screw loose, and they have just messed up and
ignorant,
and they're ignorant
don't
or whatever.
Realize,
it's case by case. But anyway, that's something I'll be following up on in the days to come.
I can't wait to hear, because I do think that if people are doing this maliciously or knowing full well what they do, that they should serve some time.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of them do that when we're talking about turning around and trying to sell these animals, and when the money's at the heart of it. Others just end up hoarding, getting too many dogs. They end up suffering because they can't say no. And like I said, many of them have a screw loose.
And it all starts out of I don't want it to suffer, and then that was fine when you had 5, and now you have 300.
Good intentions, and then it's out of control.
Yes.
Out of control.
What is it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then you see the homes. It's like not only are the animals suffering, but these people are living in squalor.
Yeah.
Those I'm not so sure jail time's required.
No,
they just need to get rid of the dogs and get some mental help.
Yeah.
So, all right. On that note, we'll take a break. We've got other calls. If you're on hold, stay there. We got a quick long break. Get it? Quick long. I mean, it's quick. We're going to it quickly. It's a little longer, but we'll be back with your phone calls, more of our conversation with Allison Fields right after this. Stay with us.